What's up, everyone? CR2 here, bringing you 87s at the good Atlanta qualifying and practice guide. So really quick over track and air temp 67, 78. That's still fairly cool. And my personal preferences of settings, -2. Brake bias I think is maxed out by default, but just the way that I found that I could drive it, I've been able to go 42.8, probably even all the way down, but 42.8 just because that felt comfy. Depending how you guys feel when braking and such, how you drive the car, adjust the brake balance as needing. It's not a secret answer to speed. It's very much driver dependent. Sure, that's the same. Okay. We'll go over the qualifying lap first. Same as usual. Keep it below 100 miles an hour on the apron. Once you're straightening the wheel out, you can smoothly accelerate. Don't just full blast the throttle. And then about nearly full throttle high line, 3 and 4. Lift a little bit just to get your turn down started. I feel like it's better to have a straighter exit. Still flirt with the wall. 81 at the line, and we're going to high line this. Brake as you're doing. A little bit difficult to talk and do that. Lift a little bit past the start of the safety barrier. Wait until you're turning on down, and you could just about full throttle it. Look at that. It's a little bit loose, but that's, you're not doing, your steering wheel is not doing the turning. It's that right rear.
52.177.
So a 32.1. I've been able to get it as low as a 32.0. So let's see if we can replicate that. I actually have to full on start because, yeah, I forgot to set up. So really quickly, just to go through what this looks like. Right about, certainly, I feel like I did this a little bit too late. Just past that Cup Series sign on the wall, but don't, you want to try to be looking here, somewhere here, kind of where the track is intersecting your A pillar. That's what you want to be watching, because I've noticed I kind of look here, but up here it's further ahead, but anything that happens up here you should be able to spot happening, whether car getting loose, wreck, or even just kind of, hey, this is where I want the car to go. If I'm riding the high line, I want to be aiming the car for that point there. If I'm on the low line, I probably want to be, instead of we're looking here, we're kind of looking more at these two bottom lanes made by the lime and the seams. You want to be kind of looking here. That's where you want your car to go. Imagine having information here and you've got all the way up until here to react to it and make the adjustments, versus you're now actively aware of, say right here, that Atlanta sign. You've got, that's probably your time and distance to react to this information. You're cutting that time and distance in half, because I would certainly say your reaction time is the same. You just have less time to start reacting to it. I hope that makes sense. But I'd rather find out what I'm reacting to way up here versus somewhere right here, because I'm watching right here. So just really quick to start setting up for what I want to go over later on in the video. Wait until after this bump here. Once you're settled in, that's about where you can start getting back on throttle. I took longer because I feel like I overdrove into one. It's okay if you turn on down, and you could probably still full throttle that earlier. And then you're gonna lift somewhere for qualifying, probably about where I did. You can even push it later. But this is the next kind of what my visual markers are. So you see right here in the white line and also the seam. It's not, top seam is in the shade anyway, so let's not look at that. But you see how right here with the white line, it suddenly takes a sharper left just because of how the track surface went along as time went along. And then the same thing with this second seam here, kind of a smooth arc, but then a sudden, abrupt, harder left. That's what I want my car's arc to match as we're getting to this point right here. I don't want to be, say we're still pushing up right here, and that's just longer. You've got a way to get back on throttle for exiting turn 4. Right about there, you can kind of start modulating your throttle, but as your tires are going to wear, that time, depending how you're driving that, you may have to wait longer to get back on the throttle, might be able to do it a little bit earlier. Just very dependent. But then once you wait until you're turned down, it feels very well like you've got the right rear turning your car and pushing your car out of the corner rather than we're relying on the front tires to turn us out of there. I'll go over that a little bit more, but we got to try to do 79. That's not a big difference. Got to give our flying lap a second attempt. I feel like I can show you guys what 32 zeros will look like. I think even a 32.1 is very good. But just for 0.0, you really have to be brave on your qualifying lap and maximize it. Just barely got the wall. '81. I'm on throttle even too early there. You see how I'm relying on that steering wheel to get me through the turn. So let's reset that. I'm gonna lift a little bit. Slightly straighter exit, though it probably does not matter. Or it's actually not helping, I'm sure. 81. Wait a split second longer. Okay, yep, I'm hard on the throttle, but I allowed the car to get that turn back down through the turn. Allowed a car to get that rotation through the rest of the turn. And then just cut your line down at 32.16, 0.016. I really feel like that's the best I can get out of it, but you see just how much I'm trying to find that line, that earliest point to go full throttle without pushing up into the turn or up into the wall. So let's go ahead and hop on out. Let's do a whole reset and such, but 15, 16, 15 I suppose. That is not it. Okay. Right after that Cup Series sign, right there, I thought I was going to get the wall. Right on that line, I'd wait just a little bit. I feel like turning the wheel was also scrubbing some speed, so just wait a split second longer. Match that sharper turn in the lines. Full throttle, and then just cut your run of the line as short as possible. That was done in 79 track temps, so I'm sure there's someone that can do faster than that easily. But a 32.0 I feel like is a very good qualifying time and should easily contend for a top 5 starting spot. But anyway, let's move on to race pace guide. I did do a 25 lap run before starting this video, just kind of get a reference of what's best and most important to know, and then from lap 26 on is kind of new information for us. Keep in mind the track temp is still 79 degrees. We'll probably get up to 80 as we're running our laps, but 1 degree difference is, I'm sure, is very, very small. I'll just pretend this is our out lap right now from pitting. Kind of lift off before the Cup Series sign. Allow the car to float itself in. And I feel like I was a little bit too early on the throttle. Could also just be not the best line for how I want to drive it. Lift at the safer barrier. Match that arc to where the apron line and the seam start to kick in hard or left. And you can just float your throttle the whole way out.
33.064.
Let's take a little bit of a later turn in. I have the wrong comparison bar on, like always. Back to kind of where I feel kind of where your eyesight should be pointed at, your immediate, your focus point, your focal point. I've found, and I'm probably still doing it right now, I look right here, even through the turn. See, I kind of feel like I'm reacting to this point, and I've got maybe just a couple hundred feet to react to it, to adjust to.
33.279.
But then where you should be watching is right here, where the track intersects with your pillar. Because instead of, say, what looks like 10 car lengths to me to react to, you've now kind of suddenly got, say, 20 car lengths to react to, 25, just ballpark number. So just to kind of point out, so I'm watching here right now. Mind you, I'm kind of doing this, I'm steering with just my left hand. Lap times will suffer a little bit, but I'm now focusing right there, and then beginning, now focusing there, where the track intersects my A pillar. So have your eyesight focused on that, and then say, Atlanta sign, focus on that. Focus on that.
33.44.
And then now back over here. Don't adjust to what feels best to you guys, but say instead of constantly watching right here and then maybe here, because that's right there in the middle, as you're approaching, look here instead. And then just kind of fine tune what feels comfy for you, but think of, say, you've got a second at most, a second and a half to process what's happening right here, versus you could process that same amount and
33.625.
say right here, you're reacting to this, but now you can react to when you know this far ahead, as I drift up terribly. So try changing up where your focal point is while you're racing, and just notice the difference. That I'm sure will help you, because you now have more time to react to this instead of cutting that easily in half and looking right here. Adjust for track and kind of what your situation is, but generally look, say, more around here. Don't be looking right here and almost kind of literally at your dashboard. Give yourselves more time to react to something happening on track or where you want your car to go. Now to shut up about that. This is about lap 7 of this run, I believe. So I'll kind of start to talk through at the line. As far as race pace,
34.0.
you want to lift and brake before the Cup Series sign is what I feel has worked best. Kind of wait until that third hash mark. They're tough to see just because of the track surface color. And then lift and start your braking probably at the start of the safer barrier. And then just wait until you feel the car turning on down towards the apron. Don't touch the apron, of course. Wait until you feel that turning down to get back on your throttle.
977.
So 1 hash mark 2, 2, right there, back on the throttle. Perhaps just a little bit later, but fine tune to somewhere around that third hash mark in the middle lane. For 3 and 4, kind of wait till shortly after that sharp kick in the apron line and seams. See, but I feel like I was fighting the front tires to still get me through the rest of the turn. So
34.117.
3 and 4 is the tougher corner in my opinion. I carry too much speed through that. You want to be turning down the corner. You don't want to be drifting up towards the wall at exit. You're not doing your front tires good things. Brake a little bit. Kind of wait until you're past that Atlanta 3 sign on the wall. And it felt just as fast as the lap before, but I'm not using the front tires to turn the car. A little bit of brake, wait for that third hash mark, and then you can go. You can go earlier, but see where I went and I still felt like it was pushing up. So in fact, I would absolutely wait until that third hash mark unless it's like to hell with tire saving. One, second mark, third mark. Wait till we're about past it, and you see that? Full throttle, almost no problem. Didn't have to use the front tires for more turn. That is when you know you're using your rear tires to push you out of a turn rather than trying to use both, and you've got to turn the front tires like hell just to keep it off the wall.
34.317.
First hash mark, second, float a little bit, and then back on it. Okay, so this is a visual marker I've got for 3 and 4 that isn't on the wall. You're looking here for your 3 and 4 marker. Look at that A pillar. You're looking for a purple billboard. You see that within your windshield? That's when you can get back on the throttle. If you're doing it before that, I am 99% sure you're burning up your front tires. It's a long time to wait, but if you give the car the time it needs to rotate and get on the rears, it's going to help you so much, and the difference will probably begin to show itself within 15, even 10 laps. So that felt like a really good lap. That was a 32.11, 34.11. Lift off. Wait, still wait, now go. And you see that I can just keep it on the throttle for the rest of the turn, all the way until I'm slowing for turn 3. Brake. Let your car rotate, and now back on the throttle. I was even a little bit early. I turned down towards the white apron line much more than I wanted to.
34.338.
And that's even too early. See, I got to lift a little bit, and I still got the wall. You truly feel like you can lift earlier than that third hash mark, but that's the spot to wait for. You really feel like that the car can take it. It will, but you'll feel the downside within just 5-6 laps.
34.305.
See, now we're going to wait until after that third hash mark. I'm going to do higher line entry, but still, that's a terrible turn. High line entry, but middle to low exit for 1 and 2. Little loose right there, that's good.
34.21.
Still too early on the throttle. Still too early. Okay. Exit of turn 2 is going to be a trouble spot. Definitely watch out for that part. Little loose off of turn 4.
34.478.
Yeah. I was using the fronts to get out of the turn there. So right now we're both learning this at the same time. It was only up until lap 25 that I did a pre-video practice.
34.391.
Yep, that's right on the throttle. Get a straighter exit off of turn 2, you can get back on throttle a little bit early. Get back on the throttle once you see that NASCAR Cup Series sign instead of the purple one.
.393.
Still doing that pushiness.
.349. .34.34.
felt fine through that, but if you got someone on your high side, you will have to lift without running up and dooring them accidentally. Same line through 1 and 2, but just try to be more patient on throttle. First hash mark, float a little bit, and then third hash mark, go. Yeah, that's faster. Put the brake bias up a little bit.
34.388.
Adjust your somewhere with these billboards. That's going to be your back on throttle marker. When you see those billboards come within your windshield view, and adjust to one of those 4 billboards.
34.4.
Going way up a lower line than I wanted to. Yep, loose there, loose there. Okay.
34.495.
Time to learn this the other way and figure out how to balance that loose out so we've got even tire wear for our green flag pit stop if it does go green. Right now the answer is feather the throttle a little bit. Don't really floor it. Be gentle.
527.
Kind of overdrove that. Just blender.
34.673.
That's too early on the throttle, still pushing up. It's even still fooling me. You fully believe the car can do it, but the tires are not going to be your friends 15 or 20 laps into a run. So the immediate answer to loose problem on turn exit is just kind of be a little more gentle on the throttle. Patient as well, of course. Kind of adjust your throttle input. And so long as you're not kicking out the back tires, you're good. But so far as line changes and such, probably move up high. Let's try that.
34.352.
Wait until after that bump. And then just kind of modulate your throttle a little bit. Auto Club and Homestead, like up high for 3 and 4, I really wouldn't ride the wall all the way. You just kind of want to be able to turn down away from the wall for your exit. See, I'm overdrove the entry a little bit too much.
34.615. 34.601.
I want to say 8 gallons ought to get you there safely. We've been doing, this is now lap 41, I believe, and we could still very likely go all the way to 70, so I want to say 6 gallons would get you there. 7 is certainly the safe bet. There is also auto fuel, just can't flip that on because this is a test session. But say 7 gallons is very likely the safe fuel number.
34.641.
And then also, so we see how just a right side tire change feels. We'll do a 2 tire practice pit stop. In reality, if we were still green in the race, I would very likely wait as long as possible, up to lap 50, no earlier than 50. You could push it as far as 65 if you want. But kind of generally, there's always that chance of a yellow. You want to push your first new tire set back as much as possible. This is going to be a 90 lap race. If there's a yellow on lap 15, I would stick with the original tires. I don't think I'd want to change my original sets out up until lap 25 if you get a yellow there, kind of more ideally lap 30 for a first wreck of the race hypothetical. But Atlanta is a very high tire wear track. And if you can, even a restart with like say 5 to go, you happen to have a spare set of tires, take those, probably up to 9th place stayed out. You're the first car on new tires. You'll likely be able to pass them all within 3 laps, not 30. Still too early on that throttle. Okay. Let me do one more lap and then we'll do that pit stop. I really need to figure out that back on throttle point for 1 and 2. That's a tough point. People are going to be on throttle too early, destroy the right fronts. It demands some patience. It really demands patience. First hash mark, second hash mark, third hash mark. And you see, look at that. You can keep that speed you build from exit, and that's instantly a 10th faster. Wait until those billboards come into the windshield view. Slightly too early. And 0.4. Still too early. You really feel like you can do it, and I have to wait on throttle. I have to lift back off, wait longer. Be patient getting on throttle for leaving turn 2. Let's do that practice pit stop. Ooh boy. Quick tip, adjust your brake bias back up to probably 50, if perhaps even higher. And we'll go back over that at the end of the video.
Right here.
We want tire info 75, 75. I certainly feel like I could have been better, but equal tire wear is good.
Okay, punch it.
Be careful exiting pit road. You have cold right side tires. And this car will very likely be a handful for 3 or 4 laps. Brake bias up just as a precaution. ease into the limit. You don't want to try to race at the limit right away. That feels pretty good.
0.8.
I would probably ride up high, middle to high line. I feel like low line, it's kind of that, I'll say quicker rotation for lack of a better phrase, kind of a tighter turn arc. The car will be very loose for a couple laps down there. So just stay high, be a little bit safer, and just insanely how much quicker it is. That's probably a second and a half faster initially. So new tires versus old tires is of course huge. That's loose on exit. And when you want to take your second tire set, which you very likely will, Old Atlanta is a challenging track tire wear management wise, loose off of exit especially. Wait till after that bump. Just a little bit of throttle to maintain center speed. And just be careful on throttle. If you're on too much throttle, the car will want to break loose. Loose there. So absolutely be careful.
33.465.
Loose there. Now lap 4 of this 2-tire run, I think. Just trying to see. Okay, I got the wall just loose. I tried to ride it out and it still drifted up towards the wall. Let's see how long that tire advantage lasts till we're back up to 34.4. Might actually be too long for time purposes of this video. As yeah.
33.912.
Low throttle a little bit. Definitely be aware, everyone, that on 2 tires it is pretty loose on exit. Be patient, be smooth with your throttle inputs. But even with a cold track, I think this is going to be a very, very fun week of racing. Absolutely make some time to run a couple of these races. Hopefully I can make the Monday night race. .35. Let's just say we're on lap 50. I did start this run at lap 6 technically of what's counted. So we're at lap 50.
33.72.
And where's that fuel amount? 35 estimated, so we'd be 5 laps short. So instead of 7, I'd go even 9. 3 laps per gallon-ish. Ignore that wall hit. 3 laps per gallon of fuel-ish. I want to say 9 is the safe bet, assuming you're running a full green race. Say a yellow, with a yellow, 8 gallons absolutely minimum to make the whole race on fuel. But I would go 9 to be safe. let's go ahead and get to wrapping up this video, as I'm sure it's gone a long time. But I really hope this is helpful to anyone that watches. Not an easy car to race, and especially you throw in old Atlanta. Not an easy track to race, but very fun. Once you learn it, you know the ins and outs, how to not only go fast, but stay fast 40, 50 laps into a run, even as short as 30. As short as you make it, you could have your tires frying up within 5 laps if you run it too hard, regardless of car. You try to race this too hard for 2 laps in the 87s, they will make sure you know very soon. We're going to try a practice pit stop again. I started braking once the scoring pylon popped up towards the left. Of course, you guys would be on the lower line, just that's a good thing to do. Sunoco sign. And still sped that. It's a little bit too easy on the brakes. So be looking. You're going to have to look. The iRacing UI cover blocks it, but you're going to want to be looking almost up in your window net, actually up at your window net. Once you see that Sunoco sign, I very, very much recommend that's where you start braking for your green flag pits. You could try braking later, but I'm very sure it'll sneak up on you. It did in this video, trying to brake at the site of the scoring pylon instead. Could probably make that, but if it's under green or even ever, just you don't want to take that chance. Check out the tires again as well. 96, 94 was pretty loose on 2 tires. Be careful, guys. But Old Atlanta, very, very fun track. Almost no matter what oval car you take it, you take it there. Next gen even is very fun once it does. Once AFIX and A Open do their Old Atlanta off-season visits from the Real Life Cup Series. Very fun in almost any oval car. Don't pass up on this week, guys, if you can make it. I'm gonna race this week as much as I can probably, because Old Atlanta is top tier track with like Darlington, Auto Club, Homestead as well. We're not going to start up a track debate, but thank you guys for watching. This is a long video. There's a lot of info to go for, and but ultimately I hope it helps anyone that watches. Thank you guys for watching. Take care and see y'all sometime soon.